everyone, my name is Andy Patania Matthew. Join me as we learn and unlearn things and make new discoveries. This is AnDiscoveries. Happy Pride Month, mga kauban! In today's episode, we are celebrating the vibrant colors of identity, courage, and joy. And we are very honored to have somebody who embodies all these and more. He's a proud trans man who's not just living his truth, but also inspiring others to do the same. We'd like to welcome to the show, Chase Go. Hi, happy Pride Month, Chase.
Hello, Andy.
Dagan kayong salamat ha for saying yes to this invitation and for lending us your voice to talk about the Pride movement. How are you?
I'm good.
Aside from being the former president and also the founder of Transman Equality and Awareness Movement, you're also the regional project officer of Rainbow Rights Philippines, and you also have a page which is now on Facebook. That's Relentlessly Chase. Can you also tell us about what you do?
Okay. Well, for advocacy, my advocacy really is trans rights. Mm-hmm. So if you check my page, usually I talk about like how trans people can change their first name in the Philippines, which is actually possible, although not a lot of people know. About also their health rights and other rights. No?
Sige, later on, we'll go into that so that naasay makatuna ang ato ang mga viewers in terms of the change in name and also how to safely transition. But if you don't mind also sharing with us your journey, like when at one point did you start questioning or exploring your own gender identity?
At the age of 6, I already sort of knew. I didn't know I was trans, like I didn't know that word, but I already felt like I was a boy. So I was 6, but I knew. So I think a lot of people think it's a choice. It's not really a choice. It's more like instinctively, you know lang. No? Then it was only in college when I learned the word trans, when I saw trans people on YouTube. And so that's when I realized, oh, I'm like them. No? And so I started to find out how I could transition as well.
Where was there like a specific moment, Chase, when you had a moment that clicked for you and made you find out that trans man was the label that fit you best?
When I saw a trans YouTuber, I don't think he's making videos anymore, but at that time there were only like American trans YouTubers and those from Europe. And when he talked about his experience, that's when I realized that's my experience as well. So that's when I realized, okay, I'm trans, so that's the word for it. Because in the past, people tried to label me as lesbian, but I never identified with the word lesbian because I also wasn't, because in the past, I was attracted to both men and women. So I couldn't like say, no, I'm not a lesbian, diba?
Yeah.
No, but I just didn't know the word for it at the time.
If you could enlighten our viewers, kanang we're not very educated with the proper terms to use. So like, unsa di ay ang difference between a trans man or a trans woman versus a lesbian or a gay individual?
So a trans man is a man who was assigned female at birth. No? But they just know or they just feel na they are a man or they feel like a boy. No? But a lesbian still identifies as a woman.
Okay.
No, a lesbian is a woman attracted to other women. Trans men are not necessarily attracted to women. No, like in my case, in the past I was attracted to both, and right now I have a boyfriend. No.
All right, sige. When we return, we will talk about Chase's transition journey and also enlighten us on the proper use of pronouns.
Okay.
If that's something that we can also discuss. So mga kauban, please don't go away. AnDiscoveries, we'll be right back. Welcome back to AnDiscoveries, and we are still with Chase Go. Chase, let's talk about your transition journey. Were there fears or inhibitions when you started, and what were these?
When I started, I was mostly afraid about my family finding out about it because, I think younger trans people don't necessarily experience what I experienced because a lot of parents are more open now, and I'm happy for that now. But during my time, a lot of trans people at that time were not accepted by their families, so it was my major fear. No.
So it wasn't really the medical processes that you had to go through which held you back during that moment?
No, and I think for a lot of trans people, even if there are risks involved with medical transitioning, for them the risk is worth the benefit. Because when you're trans, every day, a lot of trans people experience this. Every day you feel so unhappy with how you look, with the clothes that you have to wear for school or for whatever, or that you have to look a certain way. So every day is depressing. It causes anxiety, depression, etc.
But it's also, I don't know, challenging on the budget because it's not an affordable process for most Filipinos. Okay, I saw one of your reels sa imuhang page ng Relentlessly Chase, and then you talked about how it would cost to get a top surgery.
The three most common procedures are keyhole, peri-areolar, and double incision. Surgeons will recommend a procedure based on your chest size and their experience. You can discuss your specific goals with your surgeon. The cost of surgery. A rough estimate for top surgery in the Philippines today would be around 120 to 300,000, depending on your chest size. Yeah, transitioning is not cheap, and unfortunately in the Philippines, it's not covered by healthcare. Because in some countries, trans surgeries are covered by healthcare and also their hormones. But in the Philippines, we don't have that. So you really have to pay out of pocket. So it is a struggle for the average Filipino, especially if you live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
But if you can save even, I guess, 5,000 a month, you can get there. You can save up the money to start your transition.
How has your relationship with your body changed over time?
Well, now I love my body. In the past, I hated my body, and before I could transition, I was so angry. Because parang I was just always angry, depressed, and it was my uncle who first pointed it out. No, when I was already starting my transition, you're happier.
Really?
Yeah, I smile more. No. So it really has a positive impact, and transitioning is not something that's a want. It's for a lot of trans people, it's a need.
And you also say, that it's not just the medical transition process that you go through. There's also what you call the social transitioning, and that also involves being particular with how you want other people to address you. So if you could also teach us nganong important man gyud ni for the members of the trans community and also the LGBTQIA+ community ang paggamit gyud sa saktong pronouns.
Because when you use the correct pronouns, you're validating the person's gender. And when you don't, no, you're invalidating them. You're saying that that's what people usually say about trans people nga, you're crazy or you're sick. But that's not true, no? We experience gender dysphoria, no? And that's the feeling, no, of anxiety or depression about how your body looks and everything. And psychologists agree, medical professionals agree that the correct treatment for gender dysphoria is to allow a trans person to live their true self.
We all know this famous story which happened no, here in Cebu. Unsa gid ay like have you encountered situations na kanang disrespectful lang gyud ang mga tao regardless of how you would like to be addressed, and how did you handle these kinds of instances?
I didn't have that many experiences no, where people invalidate my gender. But in many instances, I just ignore them because, like, who are these people to me? Like, I just think, I don't care. I don't know these people. In some instances, I correct them. But there's no point in arguing with somebody who doesn't want to listen. Diba? Like, choose your battle.
Right.
Like, why bother fighting with some stranger who maybe you're never gonna meet again?
But how about for the rest of the members of the community? Like, what's the proper way to approach a person when you're not very sure on how he or she would like to be addressed, especially sa kanang grassroots bitaw? So what should we do to be respectful when in doubt?
When you're in doubt, you can ask. A lot of people tell me though that it's awkward to ask. I don't want to ask. Like, it's so weird. Why will I ask someone about their pronouns? So, an easier way siguro to introduce pronouns is by introducing your own first. So you say, so it's less awkward, right?
Bitaw,
if you
no?
start with like if you say I'm Andy, I use she, her. I'm Chase, I use he, him. What's your name and what are your pronouns? So it's less weird
Bitaw.
than if you just go straight and ask, what are your pronouns? And like, who are you? I don't know you. Why are you asking me? No. Or if you're not sure, you can always use gender-neutral terms. They, them, omitting words like ma'am, sir. No?
Yeah. But it's difficult here in the Philippines. Kaya we have a culture of being very, we're so maikugon ba? We're not used to addressing people by their first names, especially if these are people of authority or age nga mas mature sa imuha. But yeah, no, I like that suggestion nga. Unhan mo. Introduce imong self and how you'd also like to be addressed.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Chase. When we return, ato na sang hisgutan no, the different advocacy work that Chase is involved with. So please don't go away. AnDiscoveries will be right back. And we are back here at AnDiscoveries with the one and only Chase Go. Chase, if you look back at your journey and how far you've come, what are you most proud of sa imong self?
I guess the people I've helped. I think at the beginning, I couldn't really see the impact of what I was doing. until people came out and contacted me and said, thank you for even just doing your videos, or talking at an event, because apparently these people saw me and they heard me.
Right.
And then some of these people were trans, and they felt that what I said to them really made an impact in their lives. So it gave them the courage to come out, or to transition, or to feel better about themselves.
If someone of the younger generation would come up to you now and express that they are unsure about their gender identity, what would you tell these people?
Well, when someone's unsure, there's no pressure, no? You don't have to discover it now. You just have to slowly discover who you are. You can meet other people, no? Maybe meet trans people to see if your experiences are similar. Even just go online, just watch videos of LGBT people, see where you kind of fit in, or where you feel you connect. No?
What are the most common questions that you get?
The number one question is, where can I buy testosterone?
What else? How about the transitioning, or how to change your legal name?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me that as well, because I think I'm one of the very few advocates talking about it.
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of people are not aware that in the Philippines, you can change your first name. And you can do it at the local civil registrar.
So how do you do it? On what grounds?
RA 9048. A lot of people know this law as the clerical error law. So that's when you change small errors in your name. But it's actually also a first name change law. So this law empowers the civil registrar to change the names of people under certain grounds, and as long as they pass certain requirements.
So naano ba kay mga natabangan who have successfully changed their first names?
Yeah, there are people who have changed their names. So if not through this law, you can also use Civil Code 376. So it involves going to court. It's more costly because you have to go to court, you have to hire a lawyer. Unlike RA 9048, the law allows you to change it at the local civil registrar. But it's still not, it's not free. There's a filing fee, and because of the requirements, it will cost you siguro, ballpark estimate lang, 15,000 pesos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come July, we are going to welcome our new set of leaders, no? As far as trans rights are concerned, here in the Philippines, unsa pa may kuwang kinahanglan natong ma-achieve?
Legal gender recognition. So this is the LGBT community as a whole, we want anti-discrimination, we want marriage equality, but specific to the trans community, we want legal gender recognition. So this is when not only are you allowed to change your name for reason of being transgender, you can also change your gender marker. So in other countries, America has this, Canada has this, Europe, many countries, actually even in Asia, we already have this in Japan, in Korea, but wala pa rin sa Philippines.
So layo pag yun. So daghang implications sa anino, like for example, for your driver's license, you can imuhang gender marker, pwede na ka mo
ma-change.
Okay. But in terms of feasibility, do you think that we are still far from that objective?
It's still far because it was only in the 19th Congress. Now, for the first time, there was a proposal, a bill proposed to allow, I'm not sure who proposed it, but a bill was proposed to allow the change of gender marker and name for intersex people, but not for trans people. But there are things happening behind the scenes. So I expect in this Congress a few versions of legal gender recognition bill will be proposed.
How about sa kaning mga uniform sa schools? Nasa ba yung magpatabang sa inyong mga organizations? And what kind of
Yes.
assistance do you give them?
So when students and workers come to us and say, hey, please help me because my company or my school won't allow me to wear the uniform that aligns with my gender. So yeah, we help them. We tell them how to approach the school to request they allow the person to wear the uniform that matches their gender identity. And we have a new law, actually, the Mental Health Act. So not super new, a few years old, but the interesting thing is it can be applied in the case of trans people. Because in the Mental Health Act, it says, there's a provision there that says that companies and schools have to make reasonable accommodations for mental health issues. Trans people are not sick, but we have gender dysphoria. And the treatment for gender dysphoria is allowing us to wear gender clothes that match our gender identity, things like that. So the argument there is you have to tell your school or your company that you have gender dysphoria. If they ask for proof, then you ask a psychologist to certify that you have gender dysphoria. And that forcing you to wear these uniforms or using these toilets will cause you distress, anxiety, etc. So they have no other choice but to accommodate you.
I learned a lot. Just to wrap up, just 5 quick, fun, fast talk questions, if you don't mind. Sige. If your journey were a movie, what would the title be?
I don't know.
Something at the top of your head right now.
I really can't.
Sige, assignment na lang na in your next guesting.
Okay.
Next question. What's one piece of advice you would give your younger self? Just one line.
Hang in there. Just hang in there because things get better.
Pride color that you vibe with the most?
Purple?
Purple. Glitter, yes or no?
No.
No. Complete the sentence. Pride is blank.
Pride is a protest.
All right. And finally, your message to all of our viewers.
Happy Pride Month to everybody. And I hope that we continue to grow as a community and that we gather more allies, and hopefully we will finally have an anti-discrimination bill in this 20th Congress.
Thank you, kaayo, Chase. Thank you, kaayo, for sharing your wonderful story with us and keep doing what you do. And of course, atong mga kauban, daghan kaayong salamat for joining us in today's colorful episode. And always remember that Pride isn't just about a month of celebration, but it's about owning your truth every single day. So let's keep supporting each other. Let's keep celebrating love in all its forms. Stay loud, stay proud, but most of all, stay kind. This has been Andy for AnDiscoveries.